Everybody, welcome back to the JR Wisdom channel. I haven't been live in the evenings in a while, but just wanted to check in real quick with you guys, say what's up, what's happening, and let's get right down to it. This video is basically to the men out there. Even though I know I have a variety of people that's viewing the video, but it's basically to the men out there, just to you know impart this upon you about this topic, because I'm doing this based upon it's some I've been meaning to come up with a video like this to talk about it, for men in general and younger men, just as a warning. Going off of what a live stream that Steve the Dean and O'Shea did, and O'Shea talked about it some more, and I wanted to give my take on it because, like I said, I've been meaning to do it. So I think it's one of those things. The live stream they had last night was incredible, and it's something that I think a lot of men need to be aware of. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can tune in. It's not about that. But this is something that we have all these different factions, MGTOW, and all of this, different things going on. Um, and it all boils down to security and mental health, as far as this whole thing goes with men. What you need to realize, as far as men, is that, which many of us don't think about a lot of times, is that you're born alone and you're going to die alone. That's the whole part of life. People are going to come in and out your life, and nobody is ever going to be there permanent. And a lot of times, and this is mostly geared towards relationships. You're not always, that person isn't going to be there. But when you're in a relationship with someone, you sometimes you just don't think about it. You don't think about the potential of that person actually departing or leaving, you know, or breaking up with you. You have this probably in your mindset that it's going to last forever, but it's not. Some way down the line, you're going to end up leaving that person, or that person's going to end up leaving you, whatever, however it goes. If you leave that person first, whether you pass away, that's the least of your worries. So, first of all, with that being said, let's not confuse being alone with loneliness. These are two different things here, but you have to get yourself in that mindset of, with or without someone being in my life, whether this woman is here today, going tomorrow, going within a few months, going with whatever, you have to be content with that uh everything's gonna be all good. Because sometimes when that person leaves, this is when, you know men go over the edge, men do crazy things, men, react in violence, some take their own lives, some do just crazy stuff, and they just can't deal with it. You know what I mean? They just go bananas, they go bonkers. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically, and many men aren't prepared for it, especially those who get in relationships young. Like me, for example, I got in a relationship when I was really, really young. Or those who are in a relationship for a long period of time as well. Like me, I was in a long relationship for a long period of time. And sometimes you're blindsided, a lot of times in these things, and there's really no preparation when you're blindsided, and that's when it hits you the hardest, and it hits the worst at that point. It's like somebody snatches your soul out, and it's like, how can she do this? How could she just up and leave me? How could, you have to collect yourself. It's better to be prepared for all of this, have this mindset. You know what I'm saying? And one of the callers, he said something to me that was profound. He said his father told him that you don't actually become a man until you face heartbreak for the first time. And when he said that, I was like, man, that's dope. His pops told him that you're not really a man until you face this heartbreak, And I say, when I thought about it, it's like a rites of passage. It's kind of like losing your virginity. For some people, getting a tattoo. Shaving for the first time. But just that pain of heartbreak and going through it and not falling into the same trap by knowing that how painful this is of going through this process. You know what I'm saying? And if you've never been through it, then it's one of those things that you just have to go through to understand. Some people, they face it early on. Whether they're teenagers in the 20s, some people it happens in their 30s, some happens in their 40s. That's where a lot of times this MGTOW stuff comes in because of this. You know what I mean? So I just want to get that straight. This alone thing. Well, back to because I strayed away from that. This alone thing and this loneliness thing is two different things. What we're trying to prevent this loneliness thing from being something that's continuous. It's going to be temporary. It happens with everybody. It's part of the human condition. There's a quote by Thomas Wolfe. Samuel L. Jackson, if y'all ever seen that movie 187, he says that because he's a teacher, he plays a teacher, and he says this to another teacher. And he quotes Thomas Wolfe saying, the whole conviction of my life now rests upon the belief that loneliness, far from being a rare and curious phenomenon, is the central and inevitable fact of human existence, which it is at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? At some point in life, you're gonna come across this loneliness stage, but it should be brief, very brief. You shouldn't be, writhing in agony because you're so lonely. That's when you have to come to terms of enjoying your own company, or getting that skill of enjoying your own company, knowing what it is that you want to do in life. I mean, everyone likes companionship. That's part of being a human being. Having companionship. You know, that's what it is. But you have to get your mind right, your mental health situated, so that you're, like I said, you're not writhing and you're not suffering because you're so lonely. Oh, I wish someone was here. Someone was here. You know, or the significant other. You know what I mean? Being there. So this is why you must become comfortable with your own company. You should be enough. You know what I mean? And this is what you have to keep telling yourself, whether you not so much in the back of your mind, but anytime you enter any relationship, you know, not to put negative thoughts, but just to have, hey, one day this person is gonna leave. How is this gonna what's gonna happen? How am I gonna take this? You know what I mean? What am I gonna do in case this person does leave? You know what I'm saying? Or we break up. You know what I mean? Um, Many men, they can't stand what's happening to JJ, what's happening, Jared. Many men, they can't stand to be alone. Maybe they've never been alone. They've always some guys are career bachelors. Some guys have been, maybe had women in and out of their lives or whatever, or maybe never had. So they're used to being alone. Some men have always had a girlfriend or a wife. You know, so it may be a point, like I said, until that catalyst happens where you lose that person. You know what I mean? Um, you really won't feel it. But like I said, many men can't stand to be alone. They in general, they don't want to go out by themselves. They have to have someone with them. You know, whether that be going out to eat, going out to do any activity, hobby. They're dependent. They have this dependency on someone else, and if that person isn't there, then that's when anxiety kicks in. You know what I mean? Some people just get anxiety. Some men just get anxiety. They can't do anything without anybody else there. You know what I mean? I think I said, because I always, do my live streams on Thursdays. Out and about, and well, at the same place anyway. But someone said something, and I said I don't have a problem doing these things because I've gotten so used to it. I don't have a problem doing these things by myself. I don't have a problem going taking a trip to another country by myself, which I've done several times, traveling by myself, going on vacation at a at a certain location by myself, because I've been doing it for so long. That doesn't affect me. I'm a single parent with three kids. Three of my kids stay with me, one doesn't. But that's the lifestyle that I've been living for over 3 years now. So it's not really it's not something I prefer, but that's the way it is, and I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to. This is another thing with men. You have to learn to take care of yourself as far as things that are domestic. Cooking, cleaning, doing all of these things for yourself. You know what I mean? Some haven't. Some have. Balancing your checkbook, so to speak. You know, a lot of these things. A lot of you men have either a woman or someone else doing it for you. You need to learn these skills on your own, so that, like I said, once again, you're not in the dark or looking crazy. When this time comes. So these are just things to think about. But back to what I was saying about standing alone. Sometimes you could be dealing with a woman, in a relationship with a woman, whatever, and she'll remove her presence from the relationship just to punish you, just to see how far you'll go, just to see, whatever. As long as you're confident in yourself, you're content with who you are, then there's no need to even go down that route. It's things come and go in life, people come and go in life, and that's just how it is. You know what I mean? But like I said, they'll use it as punishment or leverage. Hey, life goes on. That's what you need to think about at the end of the day. You gotta suck it up and roll. Life goes on. You still gonna be living tomorrow. You still gonna be living, God willing, the day after. The fact that that person isn't there shouldn't be stopping anything. A lot of men don't eat. They can't concentrate. They can't focus. They get anxiety. They can't sleep. Poor work performance. You know, all of these things. And if you really sit back and ask yourself, what are you doing this for? Is it really worth it? And you have these things replaying over and over in your mind. But a lot of times it's just the presence of that person not being there rather than what it is that this person actually offered. Because if it was real at the end of the day, then the person would still be there. I mean, you try to live in, which is a problem too with this, is this being alone thing. We're living in the past too much. You're focusing on stuff in the past. You're trying to live in the past, and like Steve the Dean was saying, your eyes have to be forward. You have a goal. You're a man. You should walk this earth like a king. Your eyes should be forward, not looking back. You know, not falling into despair over another human being that obviously doesn't want to be in your life. You know what I mean? And why would you even want to force someone to be with you that doesn't want to be with you? Because anything that's meant to be with you will always find its way back to you. You know what I mean? This life should be like water. As I keep saying, these things you can't force. You know, and so don't. That's the biggest thing, is don't live in the past when it comes to this stuff. You know, your mental state is what's most important, because you could be a father, you could have kids, you could be responsible for several other things, could be responsible for a few people at your place of business. You may own a business, so you have people counting on you, you have people depending on you. So um your mental capacity, your mental state is what's most important. You can't let an outside entity affect that just because they remove their presence from you. So that is perfectly fine. Just to prepare yourself, just to have that self development, that cultivation of self love, which is what I talk about a lot. You know what I mean? You have to collect yourself, find the source, find that goal. Regroup, suck it up and roll. We all know it's gonna hurt. Hey, just you can't dwell on it. Just let it flow. Let the thoughts flow. Don't live in the past. Keep it going. You know what I mean? The thing is, a lot of you when you get used to a routine and it gets disrupted, that throws off everything. That throws off your paradigm, that you have in place, and now this is altering and creating a new paradigm for you, based upon this person removing themselves from your life. So now it's just you as it always was, how you came into this world by yourself. And now you're going to have to navigate it by yourself again without this person being there. And your routine is just disrupted. You have to develop a new routine and go back to the original routine. You know, the problem is you've placed that person, you placed this woman before yourself, or your world was revolving. You were, or your world revolved around her, pretty much. That's what it boils down to. And it's hard to let it go. It's hard to let it go sometimes. You know what I mean? Figure out what you like to do. Figure out what you want to do. Develop, and I know y'all hear this so much. Develop a hobby. Develop something to do. You should already have a hobby. You should already be doing something constructive. But now is the time to focus on perfecting yourself. You know what I mean? Now is that time to focus on that. That should be your main focus. Is perfecting yourself and becoming the greatest version of yourself for the next person that's meant to be there. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. The next person you're perfecting, you learn this lesson, or maybe you already know if you haven't gone through it. This is just what it is. You're working on perfecting yourself, your craft even further. You know, you have you just constantly remind yourself at the end of the day, and this is what it's all about. You're strong, you're valuable. You know, you're that guy. You just have to keep repeating that to yourself. You know, it's the time to be great. It's the time to become the greatest version of yourself. So, I just wanted to relate that message to all you fellas out there. Don't become distraught, discouraged. Don't feel like you're worthless just because somebody removes themselves from you. Because it might just be written that way. You just can't see it. You're trying to hold on to something, which by holding on only makes whatever it is, the negative, stronger by holding on to it. And you don't want that. You want to let it flow. You want to let it go. You want to let it flow and keep it like that. So I know it's getting kind of late. With that being said, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know we probably got a few other live streams going on tonight. So regardless, everyone who's here, shout out to you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. You know what I mean? I don't know if somebody had some questions earlier. I saw like a bunch of stuff in the chat. Before I close out the chat, I'm just going back through here to read this stuff. Hardships of life making an extrovert by proxy man that learns. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, man. I'll be back tomorrow at the spot. So, topic to be determined. You know what I mean? But peace be upon you all. You know, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. May the mercy and blessings of the Almighty be upon you. Remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. I'll catch you guys on the next live stream or chat, and I am out of here, folks. Peace. Be easy.